Hello, ladies and gentlemen. This experience I'm going to speak in English. So, just for the record, before I get into this experience, I just wanted to say something. This dweeb named Mong Shengyu, or I translate to going to see cows, had commented about that I had copied his drawings. Actuality, it was my nephew's, and not me. You forgot to read and stuck your face between your legs over logic. I mean, I could understand that a 6 year old can draw better than you, and in turn, you got jealous and infuriated you to speak out against me. Why don't you take your drawings that you claim my nephew, who is better than you, with you and your dumb dweeb ego of logic and shove it? Ah, now I feel much better. On with the experience. Okay, so this event happened 4 years ago when I was about 12. Since few of you requested, well, I just have to say here it is. We were forced to go on an early Christmas break due to a gas leak and pipes being replaced. Now, we had 2.5 of both Christmas and New Year's. Excited me and my friends, including Jason, Kalia, and her boyfriend, few other people, and lastly Julie, have decided to pitch in to rent a place for a whole week and a half. Basically, now Jason and Kalia are in 19 and 20 years old. They are in cahoots with the owner and decided to rent that place. They've talked over it, and of course, Jason was the one who pitched in more because obviously he's rich. Now, pitching in, he, I guess, put in about 6 grand for the whole week and a half for everybody. And the owner decided to give us the key to the place, and he told us to clean up ourselves, lock the doors, and that's about it. He said any damage, of course, we're gonna have to pitch in and accommodate and pay for everything. But anyways, that happened, and it was just before so that we can spend Christmas with our own families and go our separate ways. Now, this place had everything: a gym, a theater, an art room, a gaming computer room, a kitchen, a spa, sleeping rooms, and quiet rooms. Now, everything was well planned, and the owner allowed us to rent it, I guess, and then he left. Now, the thing was, I arrived late because I was preparing for my some equipment and, of course, some food. Now, when Jason had picked me up, he told me specifically whether I was getting prepared for the food, like chips, ingredients, and such and such. And he told me to pack my bags because we're going to sleep there for a week and a half. So, yes, soaps and covers and bed sheets and everything. And I did. Eventually, he picked me up. We went over there. Jason, now, it's not that Jason went to pick me up because remember, we're still 12 years old. So now his mom, technically his mom, picked us up and dropped us. Now, after that, I arrived with Jason. Now, everything was well prepared and well planned out, and we pretty much settled down in our own sleeping rooms. Now, we had fun playing games, fooling around, eating tons of food, and no drama, no one is left behind. With that, we had like a tight schedule of what we were going to do on events. It was well organized and well planned out. That's why we had a ton of fun. This was short lived, however, because on the third day, Jason woke me up. To everyone's surprise, all the entrances were locked, and inside were charms, chains, and locks. We couldn't get out, of course. We argued, and of course, everybody blamed me that I did this as an elaborate hoax or prank. Okay, Daniel, please, just open the just open the damn doors. Okay, we get it. It's a joke. Haha, funny. It's fun games. Please, Daniel. I told him I didn't do it, and we ended up arguing. Well, I noticed everyone was getting more heated and something was off. Normally, we don't get heated like this at all. And I'm just like, hold on a minute. Everyone has this red fog coming out of them, except for me and Julie. Julie, now, is a calm person, and as well as I am. Now, for me, is something to explain is when I'm the type of person that anybody speaks something out, I do get pissed. I get really pissed and I get really infuriated. I don't stop until it's actually the deed is done. So I'm not exactly pissed. So I calmly just go, okay, maybe there's something off. There's something wrong. And I casted a spell and I checked and I'm like, yes, I'm in a nightmare. And I'm like, I gotta get out of here before things de-escalate and I can't do anything about it. So I woke up. I went to check on everyone, and they were all asleep. But the truth was, when I went to check on the doors, they were all locked the same way the nightmare was. I tried touching it, it would burn me. I tried enchanting something, and nothing worked. And I said, look, even though I were to try to escape this place, my friends are in danger. So when I went back to check on them, they were all asleep. And of course, I didn't touch them because what my grandpa has taught me was this thing of nightmares. When someone is being enchanted, you can't touch them. Touching them would actually harm them. So I did the only thing I could and went back to my own sleeping room, grabbed all my equipment, and placed a doll, enchanted it, and it pretty much formed into me. I made it look like in actuality that I was still stuck in that nightmare, that purgatory loop, you could say. And there was like that red fog around me, but on the doll. Now, when you physically look at it, it looks exactly like me, sleeping. But in actuality, the real me is walking around. Now, I went to the quiet rooms and locked the door, of course. And I did my own very own rituals after setting everything up to see whoever was behind this mess. And in the building, the only person that I found checking in and out once in a while, was this ghost lady roaming the grounds. I couldn't see the person who was casting because they have concealed themselves very, very well. And of course, I couldn't do anything. So what I did was I said, okay, maybe perhaps he was here, but then he's just waiting, right? He's just waiting whether to see whether someone is up, and doing so would throw me in a disadvantage. And yes, I wanted to so-called surprise him because it could backfire on me. And I couldn't do anything but do this ritual. And I said, I gotta get my friends out. The ghost lady that was covered in full in blood, not entirely, but just pretty much her dress. She was in charge of the enchantment that was covering my friends. I couldn't exactly reach to her unless I traveled to the dream realm that everybody was in. Since there was nobody to pull me back, I placed in 6 candles, but only lit 1. Activating the spell, each candle that burned out, another one lit automatically. And with all the candles being burnt, I would have to travel back into my body alongside my friends, or else I'd be trapped there. Now, I reached the dream realm fine and found everyone's spirits acted differently and separately. It looked like a movie. Everybody was in distraught and looked like it was in their type of an illusion. You couldn't see nor understand what they were dreaming nor doing unless you actually touched them. Thus, when you did, you entered their dream and actually saw what they were experiencing. I went through everybody's nightmare, but the one that really disturbed me the most out of it was three: Julia, Kalia, and her boyfriend Peter. Kalia dreamed about the morgue story, of course, the encounter I told you guys about, over and over again. And I couldn't do anything, so I went next. I went next to Peter's dream, which Kalia was being possessed and repeatedly trying to murder him. When I say murder, I mean like finding ways to like kill him, new ways, repeatedly. And in Julie's nightmare was the ghost lady trying to play hide and seek. And every time that the ghost lady would find her, then that's when the torture begins. And it would pretty much go in a loop. I know it's very scary and disturbing, but I've tried talking to everybody and I tried getting a hold of them, but I couldn't. Until eventually I did. And I convinced everybody that this is nothing more than an elaborate nightmare and it's not real. And I did. Eventually I did. But it did take me a while. I called out to everyone and pretty much everybody asked me, how are we going to escape? We're going to go this route of purgatory over and over. How are we going to escape? And I told them, don't worry. Don't worry. I got a plan already. And he says, we will follow your lead. And so what I did was, okay, everybody, repeat after me. Repeat after me. I pretty much taught him a spell to break out. Technically, it's not against the rules because it's no choice. I've had no choice, and we were trapped. My friends were trapped, and as well as me. Even I could get out. I could get out. But the thing is, that would be extremely selfish for me to do that. So I didn't want to do that, and instead, I taught him. And I did. And eventually, the spell was breaking off, and the ghost that was holding onto my friends was weakening. It was hurting her. And pretty much, it worked. It broke the nightmares, and to everybody's surprise, everybody was staring back at her. The ghost couldn't do anything because she was wounded, and she backed off. She bowed down, and to my surprise, it was Sue's dad, who I called King. He came out, and he was impressed that I broke his spell. Smiling and laughing, I asked him, "What's so funny? What do you want? Who are you? And what do you want, and why?" He told me he wanted my heirloom necklace, partially my magic. I told him no, and casted a barrier to protect my friends. I demanded that they stay in the circle at all cost. I did, and he pretty much says, "Well, you're not getting out of here alive. It's me or you." And I told him, "You don't release us, then you and I are going to engage in a bloodbath." And he says, "I don't care. You're not leaving here until I get that heirloom of yours." And I said no, and of course, oh, fine. You know what? You forced my hand. The next thing you know, we engaged in a fight through magic. He used these form of clay and bowl to launch at me, while I have used the power of magic, of shadows, concealing myself and also launching at him, and using the sound waves. Basically, assuming, like, I'll give you an example. These two knives, right? You were to hit it, and it would have this vibration. Basically, it could deafen someone. So I used that against him. Now, the fight shook the realm that we were in. It was pretty long and exhausting. But eventually, I did get the higher advantage, and I wounded him. I cut part of his ribs. Time almost ran out for all of us. My last candle was beginning to come to an end. It was low, so I did the very thing I could. I told my friends, now we had to go. So I took the barrier off, and we bailed. Now when we returned to the human realm, I got there first, and everybody tried physically in the human realm now tried coming to me, but I was upstairs. I got so mad, I found out where Sue was. He was in the security room upstairs, and I ran towards him. When he was wounded, he was actually limping. Yeah, he was limping. He was trying to escape. And I didn't hesitate to go after King. When pretty much he told me, he told me while escaping that he was sorry. That he was sorry. Now listen to this. Sorry. When he tried killing me and my friends, he could have killed us. Now he's saying sorry because he got caught and he was wounded. I didn't hesitate. I showed him no remorse and no mercy. So instead, I kicked him downstairs. And kicking him downstairs, I actually charged at him. And I pinned him down. I nearly succeeded. I was going to go for it. But then Sue stopped me. Sue stopped me, but then his words were falling on deaf ears like, please, don't kill my dad. I know he did wrong, but don't kill my dad. No, I said, you better back off before I kill you too. And then Julie stepped in. She hugged me, full of tears, and she begged me to stop. This decision I regret for the rest of my life because it wasn't for Julie that stepped in. Maybe she would still have been alive today, being my girlfriend. But no. So instead, I showed King mercy. I did a spell and took his magic away, and sealed his ghost slave away as well. We did call the cops, and King was taken to jail. But no issues were, I guess, happening to the owner. So we returned and spent 3.5 days, or the remaining days that we were there. Basically, no, it was because the next 3 days, we didn't exactly feel too comfortable staying there anymore. And given that time, when we spent 3 hours in the dream realm, we spent 3 days. So we spent the final 3 days of that week and a half. And after that, then we went our separate ways to spend Christmas in our separate homes. But anyways, is there any other stories you guys want me to pretty much explain and put on video? Let me know. Any questions, any comments, you do let me know. I thank you all and everybody, and please stay safe. Thank you.